It's true that I have been a committed advocate of human rights and religious freedom in really all of my public life. And I certainly emphasize those things as a member of the India Caucus in Congress. One example is when a few of us, as members of the India Caucus, traveled as a delegation to meet with then Prime Minister Vajpayee. And it was related to the Indian government's treatment of the Dalits. Now, the Dalits, or as they are often referred to as the untouchables, are God's children. And they have been unconscionably dehumanized historically, and they are often still treated as less than human beings in India. And tragically, this is the same ultimate mindset behind the heinous acts recently carried out by the Indian police against these helpless farmers. And the killing of the young farmer Subh Karan Singh while he was merely engaged in peaceful protest may make a martyr of him. And it may serve to haunt the Indian government for a very long time. Using tear gas bombs and pellet guns and even live ammunition gunfire, like they did, against their own helpless and unarmed farmers speaks of weakness and fear on the part of the Indian government. And moreover, it only fuels the farmers' movement and their resentment, really, and it escalates the resentment of, indeed, the whole world against such a prevailing oppression. And we have to respond as a human family. The Biden administration cannot help but be fully aware of these atrocities unfolding in India. And as you might imagine, I'm not sure I have any confidence whatsoever in the Biden administration's willingness to appropriately respond. But I would nevertheless, in the strongest possible terms, call upon President Biden to do so. The Indian government, and really all governments, should hold in their minds the lessons of the past. Across the centuries of human history, those governments and those government leaders who heartlessly oppress their innocent people have ultimately faced great consequences. Well, America should always make it clear to countries across the world that any military assistance or weapon sales to other nations from us will be predicated upon the protection of the God-given human rights of all innocent human beings, whether it's in their own country or toward that of other nations. And not only is that the right thing for America to do toward the rest of the world, but it's also ultimately and unequivocally in our own best national security interest and really the cause of human freedom itself. The traditional reason that America sells or transfers arms to other nations is to strengthen our own strategic hegemony and thus our own national security. The idea is to either strengthen or gain an ally in ways that are favorable to them and to us. And I'm one who believes encouraging freedom in the world is always in the best interest of America. It's good for everyone. It keeps us all out of war. Very simply, free nations do not usually attack or go to war with other free nations. And alliances between countries like Russia and China are what represents the gravest kinds of threats to America's national security and to the security, really, of the human family. Consequently, I understand the desire to encourage India to stand with the free nations of the world against such alliances. And by all means, India should do that without being asked. But the challenge here is that the entire world is starting to see that the Modi government seems willing to jettison religious freedom and human rights, even to the extent of attacking their own unarmed farmers or assassinating religious dissidents living peacefully in other sovereign nations. And this is antithetical to everything America stands for. And it indeed does seem to me that the Biden administration is caving under pressure after promising to fully investigate things like the Panu assassination plot, for instance. They've not done so. And I would just call upon the President to hold fast to that commitment. Mr. Biden needs to do that for America, because if we whitewash that investigation in the name of international diplomacy, it would be such a dangerous precedent. It would be a disgrace.